Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 348 of the Saturn Studs podcast. I'm Kurt, joined once again by my transparent co-hosts, Peter and Jake.
That's right, Kurt. It's the flipped
It's the
perspective.
packet loss edition of the
But with the cast.
That was last week.
Yeah. Oh, that was really bad. No, but we have it's a new year, new perspective. I've flipped the script. I've flipped my setup. The past is behind me. And the trash is also behind me.
I was about to say it's a very positive way to look at the amount of garbage behind you. It's just the past behind me, baby.
It's all cardboard.
Look, it's my air fryer. It's evidence that I own an air fryer. I don't have my certification did not come in the mail yet, so I just have this as proof of purchase.
You know,
ladies, I have an air fryer,
and is available.
Checks that box. We'll get Peter's full list.
You gotta get the Saturn studs while you still can. 2 of them are snatched up.
We'll turn in 2 years. We'll turn, when I get a girlfriend, we'll turn it into the Saturn buds.
Hell yeah.
Some guys.
Some guys. I wonder what it is with our generation of collecting boxes. Like I never threw away my cell phone boxes.
I have rabbits. That's why I hold on to boxes.
It was buried in me generationally by a family that said we will save the boxes in case you need to return the item, especially in the case of game consoles.
I wonder if that's where it's from. Save the box in case we need to take it back or something.
Boxes and spare cords.
Yeah, because I got tons of boxes, and I'm just like, when I move, when I need to pack everything up. So I'm like, they serve one purpose every 5 years.
Yeah.
That is so inefficient. Buy a new box. What's wrong with me?
It's the buy.
I do have that
promo.
feeling. Like I held on to just huge amounts of miscellaneous cables. Many of them I had no idea what they went to, under the guise, well, I might need it someday.
Yeah.
I just pulled out my mouse box. Like I still have this. I don't need it. It works fine. It's passes warranty. I didn't even buy it. A friend gave it to me.
How many buttons does it have, Jake?
It's interchangeable. It can be.
I have this box for an SSD that's currently in my machine that this program is currently running off of. So clearly it's okay.
Don't throw it away. What if you need to return it?
I have this box for a CPU.
It's like
that is currently installed in my machine.
Your computer's like looking at itself like it's as if like if I bought like a coffin and had it in my living room. This is where I go when I'm gonna die.
It's like
another SSD that I haven't installed yet.
Oh,
Kurt, show us the new tech that you got. Show us the cool thing.
I think that's that
you bought into.
We had a discussion before the show yesterday. All the audio listeners, check out the show on YouTube, so you know that we're not insane. Because right now we were making terrible radio. So we were talking about control methods on PC and how, the one thing I miss about controllers on first-person shooters is analog stick movement. This is the Razer Tartarus V2. It was the least expensive and least objectionable design of the ones that we reviewed.
Of the fucking Matrix interface pads.
Of the ones we perused.
Yeah.
And I'm undecided on whether or not I'm keeping it. I've just played with it for the first time yesterday. There are things I like, things I have to get used to, but I'm leaning towards it's okay.
He's beginning to integrate it. The RGB is hypnotizing him from the pad.
The Razer disease is
for third-person action games, I'm still always going to want to use the controller.
Mm-hmm.
Platformers too.
we did discuss how it would be possible at this point to almost. I thought it was a mouse when I talked about this with Kurt, but you could almost bring it to one-handed mode with something like that. You just need the mouse slide ability.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. We could just put a little track on the bottom of that. Maybe some very low coefficient of friction dust on the bottom. Some treatments on the bottom of that to make it super slippery. I like it, like skating on ice. Speaking of skating on ice, Kevin McCarthy's skating on thin ice as we come at you live, as always, from Congress. We're just between votes of him losing. So we'll bring you some updates later when we get it from Politistuds. that's been my
That's our other
my
show
fix
that
of
we
the day.
definitely don't do.
Like every 10 minutes we'll get a pop in. Oh, they did another vote. Nope, didn't go through.
And still no. But
Our government is effectively driving with no driver.
I have a feeling they'll magically
Nobody's
find the votes they need on the 13th, which is the deadline to set up the things, unless they don't get paid. So
yeah,
At this point, I'll take Trump. Let's do it. Let's get crazy in 2023.
let's just light it all on fire.
Crazy. Let's get the man from Florida. Put him back in.
Is that like the
Give
man
him
from
some more
Uncle?
power.
Yes, the man from Florida.
So
with
my
like
burning
periods
question,
between all the letters.
and this is more about like just how the U.S. government works. So the speaker can be anybody, like anybody. They can just say anybody. It doesn't have to be a congressional member.
I don't think it's
specified. Do they
specified.
vote? Does like the speaker then they wouldn't be able to vote? They're not an elected representative. So is their job just to be like daddy of the party?
Their job is to decide what gets brought up on the floor for votes.
And whip votes.
Well, no, that's what the whip does.
Well, they tell the whip what to do. They whip the whip. They use the whip.
They ride the whip.
Yeah,
and they need someone to ghost ride the whip.
They whip the whip. And okay, all right, that's just weird that the speaker just wouldn't vote. They wouldn't have any power. They're just
they'd have power, incredible power, because if it's
Unlimited.
not brought up for a vote, then it essentially doesn't exist.
I like it. That adds a nice amount of spice in the ramen bowl that is American politics.
It's just been too boring.
Yeah, we got Grandpa Joe, Chomo Joe, as people like to call him, and
define people.
Conspiracy theorists, my people, the people of the people,
the people's people,
the one that believe in the lizard people. The
lizard,
the Chomos,
the lizard people's people.
We love it. We have fun here.
You might be the people's champion, but I'm the lizard people's champion.
For more information on Chomos, visit your local police station and ask them for the list. They'll know. Just the list. Wink, wink.
Okay.
They'll
know, just like we know that we really should start the show proper and move on to Trae Watch, our trailer review.
Will we tell you what we actually watched this week? No, it's a mystery.
Yeah, you have to look beneath the surface.
From our favorite director, Rain Johnson.
Yeah, my boy Rain. You know how we do.
I can't believe we went that entire review, and because I never heard his name said out loud.
Yeah,
so we just.
And I'm a little dyslexic, so.
The entire time I was just thinking you guys were having like verbal typos.
Nope. We just thought his name was Rain.
I swear I had heard from someone that was how it was pronounced. Like I don't feel like that's something I would have come up with on my own.
Maybe they just got done watching an episode of The Office, and they got confused with Rainn Wilson.
That could be it.
The only other Rain that I know of, other than the obvious Precipitate, but
yeah. What about Brain Wilson?
Brain
That's
Wills.
his next one. That's his digivolution.
We're 2 minutes into Trae Watch and we've not talked about a single trailer. It's beautiful. It's perfect.
That is how Trae Watch goes. Those are the best ones. The ones that say, "Hey, we promise you trailers. We ain't gonna give you shit."
There's not
We're
a
gonna-
lot of trailers to go over,
No.
if we're
Well,
honest.
yeah. Our first train is the plane on Plane Watch. Plane 2. It's the second trailer too. I'm off the rails on this plane.
It's a feature in CAD. You can some try to insert it in some sort of 2-dimensional space.
And much like that, this movie is also 2-dimensional.
Or at least the characters are.
Gerard Butler, only the finest in action schlock.
He at one
We
point
already
had a
covered this
legitimate career.
did.
Yes, I do believe we talked about this.
And I don't think this trailer actually adds anything. I thought it was just funny because I remembered how goofy this was. I like how half this movie is definitely not going to be on a plane.
Oh yeah, they'll be on the plane for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I did not hear that they were rebooting Luke Cage, and this isn't the exact setting I'd see him in. But hey, Luke Cage is Luke Cage, I guess.
There's no there's no island like what's in the DC universe? What's that one generic Caribbean island?
Skull Island.
No, San Cortado or something like that.
Is that where the
I thought
arrow
that was in
was?
South America.
Whatever it was, the place where they go in Suicide Squad, and it's in Justice League Unlimited too.
Okay, I can't think of it, but
It's let me see if I can't find it.
is the name relevant to the point you're going to make?
No, but it's funny because it's the DC island, but it's Luke Cage. Corto Maltese, that's the one.
Coral Maltese,
Corto Maltese.
known for their falcons.
No, yeah. But the Falcon is not in this one. It's a different superhero.
It's a different company.
And we're now on a different trailer. Let's put it behind us. Done. Trailer out of here.
Just like the plan. That's done.
Let's talk about my favorite video game adaptation this year. Gran Turismo.
You know what?
So-
Some say it's not going to be good. Some say it's going to be really, really faithful. Others would say it looks like a steaming pile of dog shit.
I feel. Are we 100% sure it's based on the video game? Because I think Gran Turismo is like an actual racing term that the video game co-opted.
I mean, yeah, that's what GT means, and it's like you made a game about it. Maybe I'll look up more of the roots, the origin of it, but I feel like there's most of the community understands it more than just a video game.
Yeah, the PlayStation logos in the trailer right away maybe clued me in, but here's the synopsis for you. Direct sorry for fucking popping so hard, but when I saw directed by Neil Blomkamp.
So this is interesting.
The ultimate wish fulfillment tale of a teenage Gran Turismo player whose gaming skills won a series of Nissan competitions to become an actual professional race car driver.
So it's the fucking wizard
based on a
for
true
race
story.
cars.
Yes.
Yeah, it does say it's an upcoming biographical sports drama, which means this is ostensibly, at least in some ways, if you squint real hard, someone's life.
Yeah.
So Sony's just really proud that their like racing emulator game got somebody so good that they became a pro.
They wanted their simulation seat, and they just kept upgrading it, and they didn't realize at one point that they were in an actual car.
They put wheels on it, included a motor in it.
This new full movement feature is crazy.
So
my PlayStation's out of gas.
the kid's name is Jan Mardenborough. He is a British professional racing driver competing in the Japanese Super GT series. In 2011, he became the third youngest winner of the GT Academy competition, beating 90,000 entrants. He was rewarded with a drive for Nissan at the Dubai 24-hour race. Subsequently, he competed in F3 European Championship and GP3 Series, winning a race in Hockenheim.
That seems like some like actual cred.
Well, so Formula 3 F3 I think is like a lower racing league in terms of
Probably.
prestige. I mean, but he's making a living doing it, so I guess that counts
And
for something.
And he's acing these, yeah.
Well, he
Seems
won
like
a
he's-
single race.
Yeah, that's ace one.
I don't fucking know what career wins look like for drivers.
Yeah.
I think the cars are capped at 380 horsepower. So you can only fit
So
that
I
many
mean, like
horses.
lesser car, lesser. It's not like it's the better drivers are driving an F1. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out the differences on those.
Well, let's
No,
see. He
that
had
area.
not seriously
Wait,
raced prior to entering GT Academy.
We kind of buried the lead on this. And the lead is it's not the lead actor, it's David Harbour. He's in this as someone.
He's not the racer though.
No, he's not.
He's
'Cause that would be
the
weird.
gruff old guy who says video gamers will never be able to race.
I would not call him the main character. But he is the trainer of Jan. Orlando Bloom is in this movie too. This is like the wayward home for lost careers.
He's in the trailer. I can see he's here at 40 seconds. I think that's him, right? I think that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just guess I don't know what to say. Like I know this trailer is them like flexing the stabilization rigs for their cars so they can get like in race footage.
I mean, like, other than like some cross corporate synergy reason they had to put PlayStation Productions on this. This essentially is just a Sony Pictures racing movie, which will probably be okay if that's your sort of thing.
I'm also thinking of like how this can be the most. Well, I guess it'd be normal because it's normally like advertised out the wazoo, but like now normally you just pick apart different advertising spots like crazy. I mean, this has to be disgusting with the amount of times they show like Nissan and PlayStation and.
Well, I feel
Puma.
like if you're doing a racing thing, you kind of have to show cars, and cars are branded usually.
Yeah, I think with Nissan though, I think part of it was that like the thing he won
was a
was like
Nissan challenge.
Yeah, and I mean they could have obviously based on a true story. Literally, only 1% of the story has to be true, so they didn't have to put any Nissan product placement in there. But I feel like this is all the Japanese tech companies all flex. They're just putting their R&D dollars into this movie because it's the end of the year. They have to balance their budget, just like Tom and Jerry last year.
I feel like this is
Or
the
2 years
easiest
ago.
type of movie to get like funded. You know,
Yeah.
they have all these product placements that you just be like, "Hey, Jack Links, want to
There you
be on
go.
a car for a bit?
And that's why they're in movies, folks.
Give us 20 grand."
The boys discover product placement. Let's talk. I guess we'll talk about You People. The full trailer.
What do you mean, you people?
I mean this movie.
This
You
Netflix
People.
comedy.
It's better than the teaser, I'd say. This like expands it out a lot.
Yeah, it gives you more, but sometimes less is more. And I feel like that's kind of applicable here. I kind of worry that this might be a situation where All the best parts are in the trailer, and
That
it's
could be.
kind of blah
Yeah.
afterwards.
I mean, they do kind of repeat. I will say they do repeat like the same joke twice,
Well, the
where
whole
they're all
movie,
gathered. The two families are gathered together, and then Julia Louis Dreyfus like starts making a social faux pas, just starts like going off on a tangent, and everyone's like, "Nope, please stop talking."
Yeah. Yeah, and the dad being like, "Your hair is neat." Like that's the white move ever. Like to comment on just hair
Yeah.
being different, be like, "Man, braids
It's
are
fucking.
cool."
They did that in Family Guy in like 2002.
they did that in like every fish out of water comedy
Yeah.
since forever.
When something
Yeah,
is culturally different than you awkwardly pointed out. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
They're trying to be
Um,
positive about it, you know.
Well, I was so concerned that this movie was just going to be about black people, and now I'm much more pleased that it's got the Jews in it, and we're basically just acting out like
Isn't that two of your least favorite?
yes, and I'm so happy that they're getting the recognition that they deserve. So props to them. Shalom, am I right? I just can't wait until this sparks like a Kanye tweet about some shit because it's
Oh my
just got the two heated groups of people in it. Well, three
two
almost. I mean,
halves of Kanye.
I don't
we
really
got
feel.
Muslims, we got Jews, and we got blacks. That's not a pot of gumbo I want to be sipping on.
I feel like that would require Kanye to have a higher degree of lucidity than he does.
Yeah, maybe he'll make a guest star. Maybe he's not shown here. It'll be the cameo appearance of. They'll do the
Dark E.
crucifixion of Ye in this movie. That's how they come together at the end. They just crucify Ye.
Oh, they just all agree that Kanye is a piece of shit.
Oh, they have to add that line in there. That's how they come. Oh yeah, I missed old Kanye. Okay, yeah, you're actually cool. I like you.
Graduation
I
was
hate
great.
the new
Yeah.
Kanye. And then just when they're about to like resolve their differences, Jonah Hill comes in with, "Well, but he made Graduation though."
Record scratch.
To be continued.
In You People Too. More people.
You people too. More people.
You gotta
Just
rope in
more
another
stereotypes.
race, yeah.
Yeah.
Bring the Asians in.
Yeah.
Maybe the Hispanics.
but-
We're a
it's-
thruple now.
It's good to see Eddie Murphy in more stuff. Get him back in.
Well, I
He
think
was okay in was it My Name or My Name is
Dolomite is my name.
Dolomite is My Name, yeah. He had a
Yeah.
lot of fun in that for sure. He looked nothing like
Not a damn
man
thing.
he was based on, but he had a lot of fun and it looks like he's enjoying this. And it's like, okay, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he comes out every so often. Netflix will ring him up, be like, Eddie, you want to do another movie? He'll be like, sure. But I think he had a hard time getting back into the swing of acting after his brother died.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, and I think it suits him now not to be like it seems like he's not being the butt of the joke or the comedic heavy lifter in this. He's got Jonah Hill, Julie Louis Dreyfus to kind of lean on for more comedic effect. I forgot what the father's name was, but he's the isn't the guy from
Excuse me. David Duchovny?
Yes. He's
What?
been in a bunch of stuff.
what show was he in? Oh my god, the old like supernatural show.
Was it
Supernatural.
Supernatural?
No. The old it was on like Sci-Fi Channel. I remember
X-Files?
X-Files. Thank you.
Oh, was he Scully?
Yes.
Yeah.
Moldy
Yes, indeed.
Sculder?
So he was on the X-Files, known for X-Files, Californication, Evolution, Twin Peaks.
Evolution. That's right.
Twin
That's where I'm more known from.
Peaks. Oh, Evolution, yeah.
Yeah. He was
Yeah,
also in Zoolander, apparently.
Oh.
His career peaked in the 90s, it would seem.
Yeah, he was a big 90s name.
Yeah.
A lot of 90s people coming back in this movie, raising them from the dead.
This may secretly be demographically targeted.
Or do you think we're being cookied?
All I know is that all my entire algorithm is filled up with mahjong now.
See, Peter took the opposite approach to privacy, and that is just throw so much shit out there that they have no idea who the fuck you are.
Yeah, it's like sending out chaff missiles behind you for the heat seekers.
Google's one step away from being like hot, handsome Asian men in your local area. Find them now. Because they just think you're like a Vietnamese grandma.
You know what, Jake? If you get me that the open topped visor hat in neon green, I'm wearing that shit.
Does it come in any other color?
Neon pink.
I legitimately don't know.
You gotta become a chain smoker though. You need the visor and a pack of Marbs, and then you're set, dude.
And an ashtray that you never clean out. It's just like this fucking high off the ground.
And when I come over, I expect to have something cooking on the stove, wrapped in bamboo leaves, that I'm gonna have to unpack and
that you just shout and point at.
It's in the steam. That's in the steam basket.
You gonna steam me some balut?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. Give it another round of balut shots. Am I right?
shoot her a baluter.
A balut shot.
These looters and baluters over here.
Got a nice fermented duck fetus and some sake. Oh yeah.
Just let me abort a duck into my mouth right now.
Is it really that much weirder than eating eggs?
It's eggs it's duck the prequel.
Duck the prequel.
Eggs the sequel.
It's like when they made Lion King 1.5, but for food.
It's like if you ever have scrambled eggs, but it was crunchy.
You had a little more eggshell in there.
What's a couple of feathers?
It's good for that. It's good for your system.
It's vintage egg.
Save me the beak. That's my favorite.
I don't get why that's in multiple countries too. This thing where you just eat a small bird whole, right? Because there's the French one where it's the starling where they're weirdly like shamed about it, so you have to wear a little tea cloth over your head so God doesn't see you eat this baby bird in one bite.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
What happened to them? Did the French Revolution really go that bad?
They tried to turn time into base 10, and that didn't work out. They're like, let's just make it 10 months. You can't do that.
That is kind of like weird. Someone designed time as a system. Why did they pick such random ass increments?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake
they are wearing little napkins over their head.
It's because it's so fucking shameful.
That's fucking weird, dude.
I'd be ashamed too. TBH.
They're just laying on a plate, like on their backs. It's so sad.
What's the name of the bird? I don't know what it is. It's like a starling or something, right?
Bunting.
Bunting. Yeah.
The ortolan bunting. Eurasian bird in the bunting family. Embizzidae. It's fucking dumb.
Well, they better hope that they don't find themselves near the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Lest their bunting make
crack
them open.
Cracked into the bowl.
Yeah.
That's actually an excellent segue. I haven't experienced a segue like this.
Well, Peter, I'm a pro. So that's just the level that I operate on. I wake up, I piss excellence. That's just the truth. It's dark yellow.
I segue into glory.
It's very dark yellow because I've not had much to drink while I was asleep.
But
that's just the color of excellence, baby. Gold.
You don't sleep with your IV bag?
No, I have not yet upgraded to the IV
The water
port
cooler.
for my drip, my medical drip.
I want someone
Is
to
that
put
the next
RGB.
evolution of like swag? Is you just like walk around with a bunch of IV bags? Yo, this is my drip.
I want someone with an IV drip to put RGB in, get the water cooler.
Put the
going.
fucking dyes in it.
Yeah. I'm switching out to oil. It's better. It's better for the circulation.
Just lubing it up with a little olive oil will be fine. It's extra virgin. My cholesterol should be okay.
Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, so it's. You remember that Evil Dead remake they did back in 2013?
Yep.
Well, they decided to make a
Sure.
sequel to that, not call it Evil Dead 2, and go a completely different direction with it.
Yep. But it's still Raimi, right?
He's
still...
a producer.
Okay.
As is Bruce Campbell.
So I feel like their jobs for this, they didn't want to do any of the story. I feel like they would just come on set, look at the effects, and go, blood plus 20%. This needs to be gorier.
More blood.
The red trailer got me. It got me in a couple times.
Oh, goozled you.
That was rough. There was a couple scenes where
when
like,
the girl
I
got
cringed.
scalped.
That was one of them. No, that was like ooh, yikes.
Oh, this movie makes me sad now.
It was the fucking cheese grater, I think, that did it.
Oh yeah,
the cheese grater on the leg, because I have a box cheese grater like that. And I'm like, oh no!
I think that was a Raimi classic because it reminds me of something a wrestler would do in the '90s to get cheap heat. Like that's a thumbtacks on the floor level of.
Well, if you watch a garbage enough wrestling, they do bust out the cheese graters.
Ooh.
That is exactly the kind of wrestling I would imagine Sam Raimi would watch.
I forgot what the other one was, but yeah, it's it looks pretty horrific in a couple scenes. So not really sure what it was all about.
Oh, it's the tattoo gun to the eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that one's pretty good. That's Dead Space vibes.
So
yeah,
there's some sad things here.
Oh, the glass eating.
Oh, that was one of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of gross stuff in it. It's an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I don't need to know the plot of this movie, and the trailer makes it abundantly clear that that's a fine thing if you don't care. You're here to watch crazy gore shit happen.
So apparently, before they made this movie, there were plans to do sequels to Evil Dead, the 2013 movie, and Army of Darkness that would have led to the two universes crossing over. I'm upset now that didn't happen.
Oh, the two Evil Dead universes? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
The remake and the original.
Damn.
By October 2019, Raimi announced a fifth film was in development with, big surprise, their buddy Rob Tappert producing, while Raimi and Bruce Campbell executive produce.
Wow. What a novel team up.
Yeah. Never seen that before.
What this new
it's a bold new direction for the Evil Dead franchise. I'm sure they'll approach it with a clear, fresh vision. No, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm trying to see if this is the same director. That's really all I wanted to. It is not the same director as the 2013 Evil Dead. He doesn't have a whole lot to his filmography. He directed 4 short films.
Mm-hmm.
And one other movie called The Hole in the Ground, which, as you remember, was that basically that one episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark or whatever?
Just a whole movie.
Or no, I'm sorry, it was a Lead Redder Media thing they reviewed.
Yes. The Pit?
Yeah.
There's a hole in the ground. That's spooky. No, the spookiest thing I ever saw about a hole in the ground It was Made in Abyss. Jake, go watch it.
Oh, I think I've. Oh no, that was the anime. Yeah. I gotta watch it still.
Curry. I'm sure that how I perceive this anime is how you perceive all anime. Yeah, everyone go watch Made in Abyss with the family. It's about these kids going on an adventure, and it's definitely all good PG stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's not like it's weird Japanese shit. No siree.
No, while you're at it, watch Bleach. A new season just finished up.
Get some Bleach inside you.
Yeah. Well, I think it was like 12 or 13 years in the making. So like everything that's out now, it's
Yeah.
you know, they're rebooting it and taking their time, and everybody's eating it up. Because apparently that was where the timeline ended was 10 years ago. And we got to get back to our roots.
1,000-year blood war arc.
Yeah, dude.
Takes a literal 1,000 years.
Takes 1,000 years, and when they come out with it, it's going to be in 4 parts, and you're going to digest it over 3, 4, maybe 5 years. Who knows? Sad.
Or not at all.
Or not at all. You'll just watch Renfield instead.
Yeah. Not sure how I feel about Nicolas Cage getting third billing in the Rotten Tomatoes trailers.
Wait, who's second billing? What the fuck?
The main character, Aquafina, got top billing.
What?
I'm pretty sure they just list them alphabetically.
Yeah,
but actually, no, that can't be true because Nicolas.
IMDb has Nicky Boy on top cast,
as he should.
Top dog gets top cast.
Is Aquafina in this trailer?
Yeah, she's
the
in
officer.
The beginning.
Oh, okay.
Or towards the beginning.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Yes. What did we see her in last?
Right? Isn't she the officer?
Shang-Chi.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Shang-Chi. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And she seems to be playing a similar character that I'm sure won't be similarly annoying.
She seems a little bit toned down in this one. In Shang-Chi, she was a little bit unbearable, much like her water counterpart.
Don't worry, Jake. There's plenty of movie yet to see. Because they knew to give us they saved the goods for the end.
Yeah.
They nicked us. And they said, Nick, you get to actually be a vampire this time. You've been a ghost. You've been a fake vampire.
Check out the pictures, the behind the scenes stuff that they put on IMDb. It's all Nick Cage just like wandering around set in makeup as he's getting ready.
Sure he fucking slept in that shit.
And he's just like, look, he kind of looks lost, and he's just like, "Where's my Red Bull? I just had my Red Bull. Where'd you put it?"
If this is like the actual color grading on these photos, that makeup looks fucking great in daylight.
Regular light, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be a little more stylized in the film.
Oh man, I love these photos, like the paparazzi photos of them in half makeup or whatever. And whatever it's of Nick Cage, it's particularly amazing because the last time we got these, it was him in the pink Superman leather jacket. Y'all remember that one? And now it's this with him in leopard print pants, leather shoes, an Elvis shirt, and his full Dracula makeup.
It is quite possibly the most Nick Cage photo that's ever existed.
This is Nicolas Cage at maximum power.
Wait, that's not Elvis. That's Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly, whatever. 50s guy with the hair.
Peter, how are you so bad at this?
Come on, Peter. Your persona was alive.
Yeah,
your persona was alive in 1950. You should know this. Don't you remember listening to Buddy Holly playing mahjong? Chain smoking your Virginia Slims? What's up?
Your diet cigarette? Because you're watching your figure?
I remember my first debt to the Yakuza.
Yeah.
They only took one finger. 'Cause you knew a guy.
Yeah, and then Nakami-san walks in, busts down the door, asking for allowance. You say, "Nihon, get out of here."
All right, that took a turn.
That did take a turn.
Well, I don't know
but
any real language,
Just
so I
like
just
this
gotta improv.
podcast, or just like this podcast is going to take a turn out of that segment
We turn now
and
to
move on to the follow-up.
Follow-up.
The last weekend of the year that was December 30th through January 1st, 2023. Avatar: Way of the Water actually goes up week over week, plus 6.4%, playing in 4,200 theaters, so pretty much all of them. And it's got its worldwide gross up to 1.5 billion. I'm not on the right part of the thing. There we go. 1.5.
You know, it's really not that fair. We all know James Cameron has the sub, and he's going down to the Mariana Trench, and he's getting that bar, and he's raising it. He's also striking a deal with Cthulhu. We all know it. Everybody's saying it. And that's why his movie's doing so well, because the power of Cthulhu is mind controlling their minions. Go see.
Is James Cameron actually like a liquid? Like is that his resting state of matter is liquid? Because Titanic, Terminator 2, the one with the liquid Terminator,
and
Way
no
of
other
Water.
examples.
Did he do The Abyss?
He did get his start directing Piranha 3D.
I'm
He's like,
telling
I
you,
love water.
that's my new headcanon. James Cameron is liquid at room temperature.
I always got to be around water.
I think he's just himself a T-1000.
He could be from the future. I'd be surprised. That's how he gets us all this dope CG mocap technology.
Just show me what he's directed. He's directed 25 movies. How many of them are with water?
See, if we had the tags,
Ghosts of the Abyss.
Hey, there we go.
Which appears to be like a TV movie. What the fuck? Expedition Bismarck. Is that looks like that could have some water in there? Yeah, there's some water in there. That was a Discovery TV movie. Aliens of the Deep.
See, that's what I'm telling you. He was down there with Cthulhu. He's been to the.
He's
been
a
to the
whore,
border.
terror from the deep.
Peter,
I've been to the trench.
I was ready to dismiss your ridiculous notion here. But goddamn, he also directed The Abyss and Piranha 2. There's a lot of water.
He loves his water. You know, I think in Avatar 3, they should start mocapping the humans too, and just overlay a human.
Like a human CGI, like it's the Polar Express.
How would that be? Would it be jarring? Would that be like the Uncanny Valley?
Have you seen the Polar Express?
Yeah.
I mean,
terrifying.
yeah, but that's like.
I don't know what Robert Zemeckis was thinking.
That's not too bad, because that's like still animated enough to where it's like, all right, I get it. Like, it's not real, but like,
if your question is, will it look Uncanny Valley? The answer is undoubtedly yes.
Yeah, because the only reason why the blue people don't look, they don't scare us and trigger that fight or flight response is because, well, we know we're not blue. We're just like, hey, those are.
Well,
good
I
aliens.
can't. I'm not gonna make another Eiffel 65 joke.
Yeah, one per month.
I've already made one. We only have 64 left.
It's true. We gotta conserve them. I find it wild looking at his movies here. The movie he directed between Terminator 2 and Titanic was True Lies.
Is there water there?
Is that Arnold Schwarzenegger?
There is. If you click on True Lies, the still for the trailer is Arnold Schwarzenegger ducking underwater to avoid an explosion.
Fucking knew it. Not surprised at all.
Let me
What the fuck? This is Joke Manji. Speaking it to existence.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. James
So
Cameron out here looking like this, like the fucking lady from Doctor Who, going moisturize me. Moisturize me.
That's the Nick Cage.
so Avatar: The Way of Water is up to $1.5 billion.
Yeah,
Can it make it to 2?
I think it can. I think it's got
Now,
a shot now.
now I think it's reachable that we didn't take that dip down. I mean,
I was expecting another 50% drop.
yeah, if it kept doing it, if it kept doing it,
But it
Yeah.
has quite a bit of room to go down at this point. Yeah.
Peter,
Yeah.
can I get that in a mouse pad?
I'm sure you
moist.
can.
I think you can
I'm
get
sure
anything in a mouse pad if you want it bad enough.
You have the power. We have the power, Jake. I'll put it in the queue for your birthday.
Oh.
You will get this in the mail. Just pull it out. It'll just be that lady's face on your mouse pad.
flash.
Up
Yeah.
next in second place, a scant 49 million behind is
You know.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, but it is up 35 and a third % from last week, so it's got that going for it, which is nice. But beyond that, and the $145 million worldwide box office, it has an even more coveted honor, and that's finding itself in our spotlight.
In our spotlight. Yep. I'll make a quick note before we jump into these. I am one of these real reviewers. I did see the movie.
So why don't you give your review instead of 6 stars?
Yeah. I'll make it quick. I liked it. It surprised me. The animation was choice because they're taking cues from Spider-Verse, and that was jamming. And the dialogue was the story is pretty cheesy, but the dialogue it's kind of fun. They had some fun with the writing. I was down with it, and yeah, not a terrible way to spend an hour and a half. Watching this movie twice would have been preferable to watching Avatar 2.
You
could
it
do
here,
it.
folks. Heard it here first.
What? We need to talk about these other real.
You've heard
reviewers.
Peter give it a positive review, but what does he know?
I know that. I don't know Buddy Holly.
He didn't. He thought Buddy Holly was Elvis. Can you really trust his opinion on Puss in Boots?
Where's your lifetime member badge for IMDb?
Yeah, my 10-year award or whatever.
Yeah. But XKGDSRD meets these qualifications. He has a 10-star review for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Watch out, Disney. I can't believe how much I love this movie. The animation, the script, the characters, the story, hell, even the music. Everything about this film is Oscar-worthy. Yes, it's really that good. It's hard to believe this is a sequel to a spin-off from a franchise that already had so many movies. This film blows all of them out of the water. Yes, this movie is better than Shrek. Just do yourself a favor. Watch the film in theaters while it lasts. You will not regret seeing this style of animation on the big screen. My only complaint is John Mulaney was sort of distracting as a voice. I couldn't focus on the character because of the voice. 13 out of 14 found that helpful.
Oh wow, you couldn't focus on John Mulaney because of his voice. He has such a normal and not distracting voice.
I got caught in digging into this person's background. This reviewer,
Of course.
just looking at. So I had a question because I have 3 1 out of 10s. I'm not going to read 3, but I got 3 1 out of 10s. One person made theirs 3 days ago. One review, Puss in Boots. I'll read that in a moment.
The one I just read, IMDb member 1 week, 1 review, Puss in Boots.
Yeah. This other
Made their
one,
account.
IMDb member 7 years.
One review.
Okay.
Wow.
Puss in Boots.
Look at the reviews. Got Puss in Boots, obviously. Christmas Sweethearts, The Gray Man, The Princess, and then 2 out of left field, Lazy Town, 10 out of 10, and Beat Bugs, 10 out of 10.
Let's go.
They probably have kids.
My 4-year loves this. My 2-year-old daughter loves this show.
Damn, I'm good.
So
I'm
kinda-
so good. I see into
yeah.
people's souls.
Well,
I don't need
Max
permissions
insight.
from the family to show them naked. I've seen their soul.
now that we know the preference of that, they're 1 out of 10 for Puss in Boots because there's a trend amongst these reviews, but not by that person. We might look at that. I don't know. This one's better. By Magdalen Alenick.
You got it.
Magdalen Alenick. 1 out of 10.
That's
Definitely
exactly
not
it.
for children of any age. Guys, this is nothing compared to the old Shrek movies or even to previous Puss in Boots. If I could give this a 0, but I can't. There is vulgar language, absolutely horrific scenes, brutality, fast changing, aggressive colors, abusive behaviors, etc. Some scenes.
What's an aggressive color?
Do you want me to answer that?
Violent purple.
Do you want me to answer that? Because this person might not like blacks or something, you know? Abusive behaviors. Some scenes are like recreated from adult horror movies. No idea how this was released and got these good reviews. Perhaps bots write them? Definitely not for children of any age, to be honest. I cannot unsee what I saw. We were so shocked. We almost left the cinema. Please do not take your kids to see that movie. It is a waste of time and money. I hope this is the last movie in this series. 1 out of 14 found that helpful. From my insider information, no, this is not.
I'm reasonably.
They say the word crap 3 times in the movie.
Holy shit!
I mean, it is. This is probably the most swears out of any like Pixar, DreamWorks animated thing I've seen in the last like 5-6 years.
I'm pretty sure they
Which
said
is-
damn or ass in Shrek.
Yeah. So I think it's in line with that, and it was a pleasant surprise. I'm like, yeah, John Mulaney, you can just call them all crap. You go for it.
Also, the adult horror movie comment, I'm reasonably certain that there's a scene in Toy Story 2 that's from one of the Child's Play movies.
yeah.
It's actually kind of like a big trope. It's for you guys, you fucking idiot, you dolt. It's for you guys, not for the kids. They're not going to know what that's from.
You goofums. All right. From Red Thiago, 5 out of 10. Bland and lame. The essence of the previous ones and Shrek is not present. They put an extra C in there. SHRECK.
Makes it seem more ethnic.
Shrek is not present. The scathing wink to the adult audience with adult and politically incorrect jokes, which greatly amuse the parents and adult spectators in general. It is too politically correct and becomes bland with no guts.
Wait.
I think they're saying Shrek was the one with the politically incorrect jokes and the adult humor.
Okay.
And this is not that. It's
Okay. That
he's
helps
gone woke.
reconcile my question.
Woken boots. Technically well done. It has an interesting plot that can please both adults and children, but it lacks the spice, that forbidden humor
The spice
present in
banana.
previous scripts. It's lame, a reflex of today's times, with this Hollywood tendency to avoid hurting sensibilities and producing an increasing number of uninteresting movies. How I miss the 80s. I believe it is cyclical, and when the ties get loose again, it will fall to the other extreme. It's happened before, while we wait, letting out a huge yawn and succumbing to nostalgia. Reasonable, but not very interesting. I only recommend it to hardcore fans. 5 out of 75 found that helpful.
All those hardcore Puss in Boots fans. We're hardcore. I promise you that. Just like you clad dude won. I want you to know he's the first. His 9 out of 10 review of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, unexpectedly good for adults and kids. FYI, surprisingly, kids understand jokes aimed at adults. Yes, there are spots of the movie where it's hard to know what they understand because ideas aim at us adults. But I think the kids still understood it and enjoyed the deeper parts. Okay, so yes, kids can appreciate a good story. Personally, the movie was very fitting. Like Puss, I'm also trying to find out who I am and who I want to be in life. This was our journey. The stories have great connections romantically between rivals and newcomers. The stories are about bringing all of us together despite what happened in the past. The stories come together about building a better future for all of us. Let go of your selfish wants and desires. Focus on others. And let's work together for a better future. 8 out of 8.
Okay.
Found that review helpful.
My man, he got Nirvana right there. He transcended. Puss in Boots. It's transcendent.
All right, we'll circle back to the lady with the couple of 2-year-olds and 4-year-old and love Lazy Town and beat Bugs. 1 out of 10. Ava Den Huvel loved part 1. Disgusted by part 2. What a big disappointing movie. Me and my family loved part 1. The first one, you mean? But do not waste your time on part 2. It was way too dark for kids. Horrifying. Also, very cheap. That it was 50% animation and 50% drawing effects. Just stick with animation.
What?
Was very annoying and ugly to watch. Very sad they took this dark and weird turn with their movies. There was nothing wrong with how it was before. You will lose a lot of fans over this. We were watching this in the movies with our daughter.
There are multiple choices on that one, and
With
they
our
definitely.
daughter? Gonna read this like a southern accent now. We are watching this in the movies with our daughter, who kept putting her hands in front of her eyes. This is really not suitable for kids. If even though it should be a kids movie.
I gotta
2
go
out of
fix
27.
the washing machine.
2 out of 27 found that helpful.
Okay.
If I may interject briefly here, You Clad Dude 1 has a very interesting review history. I opened it up. He's reviewed a film since his Puss in Boots review, and I wanted to see if they were all like the same real weird garbagey mush. The night before, the subject line is, "I'm Jewish and plan to." It was submitted Christmas. Begin review. Shroom today. Haven't yet, but this movie inspired me to do it. Probably will shroom and watch it again.
Yes. Oh my. Bless his shroomish heart. Finally.
IMDb number 19 years.
Man, he's been shrooming all day. Hanukkah shrooming, baby. He's turned from human to shrooming. All right. From Scoot M16. Scoot M16? Yeah. Okay. 6 out of 10. Don't see the hype. This movie was all right. The animation is the highlight, even though the style they used is just ripped off from a much better movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I take issue with that. I haven't seen the first Puss in Boots, but I would put this one beneath all the Shrek movies. And Shrek 3 and 4 aren't very good. The story is fast-paced, but the way it unfolds is very bland and uninspired. The attempted humor missed 95% of the time because it's lazily written and geared solely towards 5-year-olds. If you're an adult, you're not going to find much to enjoy in regards to the story or comedy. It was nice seeing Antonio Banderas have fun with the voice acting. All the new characters introduced and their motives were all pretty bad and just seemed thrown into the movie for no real reason since they held no weight or attachment to the Shrek universe. My niece and nephew enjoyed it at least. 6.1 out of 10. 1 out of 9. So, what we can gather from this movie is that it's horrific for adults, but also the stories for kids. And anyone older will find it interesting.
But it's
But
horrific for
also-
kids too, isn't it?
Yeah.
And inappropriate because there's cussing. I
Yes.
guess. I don't know. That's Puss in Boots. Last wish. Last gasp for the box office here. In third, up 3 spots. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, up 47.3%. Hauling in 5.1 million there in its 8th week. That puts its total worldwide box office up to $823 million, which I think makes it a little higher grossing than Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
So it's the middle of the pack in terms of Marvel movie money this year. Whitney Houston.
Type field, yeah.
Want to Dance with Somebody, $3.9 million, down 16.4%. Babylon, down 27.5% in 8 more theaters. That's actually not a huge drop week over week, considering how poorly it reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you didn't have very far to go. It's made $11 million, all domestic thus far. Violent Night is still hanging around for some reason.
It's a Christmas movie that people actually went to watch on Christmas.
It's true.
Insane.
2.1 mil, down 40% though, as people snap out of that holiday spirit like a drunken stupor.
They with the aluminum awakening pole beat the year back into them.
Beat the devil out of you.
We got The Whale. It's in the top 10, baby. Well, it was last week,
Mhm.
but it's staying there.
It's
So we're
increasing in money. Steadily.
Yes.
Actually, that's a pretty big jump because it's only in 20 more theaters, but is up 32%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll
Per
I
theater
don't know
take of $2,200.
That's pretty
Not
good.
too bad.
That's not too bad.
how much of January are they going to ride it out. Who knows? They might be able to go all like 10
I
weeks.
think the wide release is January 9th.
Oh, okay.
Excellent. I'm stoked.
Looking forward to it. The Menu also up a ton in 20 more
Jeez,
theaters as well, up 62.2%. 8 million into 8th place. That's made a tidy 73.8 million. That did pretty well for a mid-budget sort of weird movie.
It was just a movie. Yeah. It should just be stated for sure that the losing money this week was the exception and not the rule. I think the Christmas vacation let a lot more people come to the theaters than they normally would. So when we're looking through it, I'm at least seeing just increases across the board for the most part. Except for
there are 3 that were down pretty much, and that's it. There were a few more scattered in the back half of the box office, but yeah, largely a week to go up because you gotta do something with the fucking Rugrats while they're home from school.
Yep. Ironically, It's a Wonderful Life lost 97% as they pull out from their Fathom event.
Yeah.
Or they close out their Fathom event.
Fablemans, which is available on demand. It's
You don't gotta leave.
you don't have to leave. But even that was up 39.2% in 27 more theaters. In its 8th week, it's gained theaters. I'm sure they'll pull it right back out when it's done. I wonder if these are like pop-up theaters for New Year's or some
Maybe.
shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they're all adding theaters too, like Black Panther and Puss in Boots. Like they all added like 60 or 20 theaters. The only one that didn't was Avatar.
Yeah,
And
because it's on every
it's
screen.
already
in
on
the nation.
every screen.
I know. Yeah.
Strange World, with perhaps the strangest week of all, losing 150 theaters, yet gaining 21.3% to round out the top 10.
Yeah, that is odd, and it's the only one in the top 10 to have lost any theaters.
Yeah.
I've I heard today they were going through some of the biggest losses of like 2022, and Disney was taking some L's left and right.
There's a
with their
reason why
animated
their old
movies.
CEO had to come out of retirement.
Yeah.
Their new CEO got fired on a weekday. That shit
Turning
does
Red.
not happen.
Turning Red, I think, took a lot of damage, even though it wasn't like a theater release. It was
I think
straight to
that's
Disney Plus.
because that one was actually good, from what I've heard. And
Yeah, but I
It
think I
was
still
good,
lost
but I didn't
money.
hear anyone like go to it.
well,
you
they
know? I
didn't
feel like-
release it in theaters. I don't think.
Yeah,
So
I don't think they did. I think it was just a Disney Plus release, and it's like, I feel like you might. I don't know their numbers of how much they're going up by each week, but like you got to imagine at this point it's kind of petered off. There's only so many people that are like, oh, I got kids, I'm gonna buy.
Well, they upped the price,
Disney
so that's
Plus.
going to help them out.
Yeah, if anything, that's gonna drop
Grubbles
people
furiously.
Yeah, we're reaching the downswing. This is where I send my message back through time to say enjoy it while it lasts. 2018, Peter. The golden age. You are living in the golden pre-age of streaming services. Take it for all it's worth, because now we got to fight for it.
Well, I mean, I'm borderline. I do condone
give it up.
Fuck it. I mean, I'm about to start torrenting shit again. If I don't have access to it.
There's one ultimate stream, and it's a really wide stream. It's maybe the size of the ocean, or like a bay.
Yeah. Only pirates are allowed. Yar.
Yar.
Get some scurvy and some viruses with those.
There are
I'm
better
going to DVR my shows.
There are better sites to get your movies from, or so I've heard. Obviously, I would never do any of that myself. Everything on my Plex server is 100% legitimately obtained.
That's true. Especially Ninja Operation.
I'm pretty sure I've
downloaded
downloaded the same stream from Pirate Bay that was on the Plex. It was like the exact same rip because it had a watermark or something.
No, it had the fucking casino commercials and it was the green Knight. I remember.
Yes, it was yeah, I remember that shit. I was like, maybe I can get it without the commercials. Oh fuck, it's all the same one.
Yeah,
it's all the same dude.
It was the sad times, like the golden age of piracy. Video downloads was back during the COVID times where everything came to on demand, so you'd have same day HD web rips. So I've heard.
There was some sneaky backdoor theater that you give the guy $20 and he fucks off for 2 hours.
That's how they do it in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Why aren't the Chinatown rips making it onto to the internet?
I don't know. Sad day.
I want that to be my Chinese card collecting stream. Chinatown rips.
I'm pretty sure that was a canceled Grand Theft Auto game on the DS.
The Chinese movie industry is popping right now, so they're actually playing movies. They're like, no, we can't. We got too much demand. We got to open.
Yeah. All right, so that's the follow-up right there. Let's talk gaming news. Pretty light week for gaming news, if I'm being honest. We'll begin with some sad news today, with the passing of Sim Wong-Hoo, who is the founder of Creative Labs, which is the company that produced the legendary Sound Blaster sound cards that populated so many PCs in the mid-90s.
Damn.
Passes away. How old would that make him? Can you just give me the number? He was born in 1955. You do the math.
Do the math for me. Yeah. 21 Sound Blast salute.
Yeah. 21 Doot salute.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the Doom times.
The RTX 4070 Ti, which is what I always called the RTX 4080 12 gig when they were still trying to make that a thing, is out, and the reviews are in, and it is a bloodbath.
You're fucking ripping it to shreds.
It's a terrible value proposition. It barely outperforms in raster operations the 6950 XT, which I think you can get now for like $600. Well, 800 on Amazon right now, 829, which is, well, supposedly the MSRP of the 4070 Ti is $799, but there's no Founders Edition card, which means that there will be no $799 4070 Ti, and the cheapest you're looking at getting that would be for $850, which also puts it only like $49 less expensive than the 7900 XT, which is a much faster card.
Yeah.
But none of these are good prices. Like, there are no good deals on current gen graphics cards. If you're kind of in the there's good deals to be had on last gen stuff. Like, you can get a 6750 XT, which is probably a pretty decent mid-range card for $480 on Amazon. That's just one listing. I'm sure if you shopped around, you could find better deals.
Yeah, it's and this is nothing we didn't touch on a few weeks back. Probably around December, November.
Saw this coming as being a disaster.
I think everyone saw this coming, and now we got to live with it. So just go back, heed the advice from when everyone was predicting it, because that's what we're gonna say is get a moderate card at the same.
Yeah, hold strong and don't buy the new stuff, because GPU sales are at a 20-year low right now, and I think the only way that we can get them to come back to earth a little bit with their pricing is to not buy any of their shit at this crazy price.
Yeah, maybe Econ 101 will kick back in at some level, and supply and demand will balance each other out.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Jeez, how much is like a 4050 going to cost? Are we going to see like a $400 50 series GPU?
Oh God, I got no fucking clue. It's now with the scalpers.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, yeah, they decided they wanted to scalp their own GPUs, and crypto's crashing, and we're no longer in a pandemic. So the once in a generation demand for their product, where they could sell it at whatever price, apparently that's not static.
just amazing business. Like, it was interesting to see like a lot of the tech sector kind of go full moon logic for a year or two there, and now in general the tech sector has a lot of moon logic.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, and sometimes it Groove Sharks.
Hey, Groove Shark was a great product.
Groove Shark was awesome.
Real way to make money.
Oh, sir. and then they turned it into Spotify.
Pretty much, yeah. So Cyberpunk 2077 won Steam's 2022 Labor of Love Award, pissing off many players.
But not you, Kurt, because you knew.
I knew. Well, some of the complaints are just about, like, I'll read some of the quotes. Labor of Love my ass. The game is where it should have been released at. It only got Labor of Love because of the weebs and the dumb anime.
Let's see, you put the Dale Gribble voice over that?
Labor of Love my ass. This game is where it should have released at. It only got Labor of Love because of the weebs and dumb anime.
I do like the game. I do like the game now that I think that it's based off of that show. So
Yeah.
This one labor of love because of the show and nothing else. There has been zero content added to this game over 2 years compared to literally any of the other nominees. The game is still trash and will continue to be till the company gets their 4 heart emojis. So I'm going to assume shit together.
Yeah.
Shocking how a decent animated adaptation can fool so many people into thinking the source material is worth forgiving, let alone awarding it as a labor of love. And lastly,
I don't know what to tell these
Cyberpunk
guys.
Edge Runners didn't make this a good game. No, CD Projekt Red made it a good game.
That's your
Your
that's the
opinion
best
is
part of the
trash,
Steam
and you
Awards.
should feel like trash.
Yeah, is people who don't they? You can just vote on games that you haven't played.
yeah,
You don't know about. That's why Hitman VR got fucking VR Game of the Year or some shit.
I don't know.
Yeah. Even though I guess there were some of the other candidates were really promising. Everyone's like, yeah, no, people who don't even have a VR rig were voted for VR Game of the Year because they. I don't know if they I don't know if
They
they gave
just
you an
like
incentive
voting.
to do it.
No, you just people like
Any-
voting.
As the internet historian said, any poll's a goal.
Yeah. And that's actually gonna kind of wrap it up here. We don't have like I said, it's kind of a light week for gaming news, so we'll talk about our feature revealing the mystery, even though it's probably in the title of the episode that you downloaded an hour ago. Glass Onion.
Glass Onion, which
Glass
guys,
Onion.
that's the
Glass
theme of the
Onion.
movie. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it's a
Do you think
Knives Out
they-
story.
Do you
You
think
could
they
solve the
worked?
mystery the whole time.
Do you think they worked backwards from the Beatles song?
Ryan Johnson works sideways from it.
I keep thinking about this story that I heard about how he originally intended there to be Muppets in the Glass Onion, and how that's a possibility for the third movie.
I'd be
And
down.
I just,
You know,
I want to live in that serene moment for a little bit longer.
It'd
I
be like
kind
that
of-
scene. So there's a scene in 30 Rock where Jack is talking to Kenneth, and he's like, "It'd be interesting for me to see the world from your eyes, Kenneth." And it goes to Kenneth's POV, and it's just everyone's a Muppet.
What's a Muppet? Yeah. Oh, that was so good. You know what? I wouldn't want Muppets in the Knives Out series of movies. I would want Benoit Blanc on Sesame Street. That would be
Or the
charming.
Muppet Show, yeah. I think
Or the
that'd be
Muppet
great.
Show. Does not matter.
Now
I
I
want-
do declare you are a talking green frog that somehow is enamored with this pig that wears a dress. Am I getting that correct?
This Suan female. My my fucking favorite line from Knives Out 1. It just sticks out in my mind and
This
has
isn't
no
called
application.
Knives Out too, so you can...
It's a donut inside of another donut. And this donut hole has its own hole. I don't know, it's just some beautiful way Daniel Craig delivers that line, and he is the shining star in this movie.
Yeah. Whereas I felt that he was much more of a supporting character in Knives Out and Glass Onion, Benoit Blanc takes on a much more prominent role and is really the driving force of the movie.
I have to wonder if Ryan Johnson was surprised by how popular that character would be.
Well, I
if
felt
he
like
knew.
if I gotta figure when he wrote Knives Out, he had designs on kind of franchising it, and he knew what he was doing with Benoit Blanc. He said, "This is going to be the bankable character. This is my Hercule Poirot."
Everyone loves a good detective guy.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he knew exactly what he was doing. Overall, I would say it's a good movie. I did enjoy it. I thought Knives Out was a little better. At least, it felt more novel. This kind of felt pretty standard. It felt like a good episode of a good procedural cop show.
Okay.
in
Yeah,
that it's a pretty basic template. They just plug some characters into it, but it was pretty well written and tight. And at the end of it, you're like, I enjoyed that. Whereas Knives Out was at least in my opinion, a bit more novel of a story layout.
yeah. This I think I enjoyed it a little more. Oh, I guess the bulk, like the first couple acts of the movie, I liked more than Knives Out. One, just because I bias alert. I was I was a little tipsy when I watched Glass Onion, and by a little tipsy, I mean I was into a double sized Long Island iced tea for the whole thing, screaming at the TV like, "Yeah, yeah, you go
He
to
did
that island."
it. He did it. He did it.
It's so crazy, dude. As the little thing is on, it solved all the puzzles. Um, so for me, looking at pretty things and fun colors and Benoit Blanc, and Daniel Craig's performance was good. I was like, yeah, I was going for it. This is the kind of movie though, and I purposely just glazed over all of this because I didn't want to try with this movie. This is the movie where YouTube theory crafters get to have like a field day because they
Oh
want to
yeah.
like
Is
pick
it?
apart every frame of this thing.
There's a good amount of like
But like, what theory is there to
background
craft
subtext
here?
with like the Fibonacci sequence
Or like
and
structural analysis. Yeah, like I see a
Mhm.
lot of these like video essays on it where
Yeah, this
like
is a good like movie details one.
for
Like there's one I
for
didn't catch, where Birdie J is on LSD
yeah,
in the movie. You can see a sheet
I
of it. I
Oh
saw it on
yeah.
Reddit. There's a movie
Mhm.
detail on Reddit. You can see a sheet of it when her purse spills out, and there's a few squares missing, and then like all of a sudden, at a certain point in the movie, she starts exhibiting all the signs of someone who's tripping on LSD.
Uh,
and by the nature of it being a whodunit movie, like they want you to be like poring over everything for clues all the time.
Yeah, and I felt
And I was
like
like, I'll
I
just watch it.
I found myself looking a little harder than I did when I first watched Knives Out, because with Knives Out, the way they set it up is that like you see the guy get killed, and
Yeah.
you know how he died, and then there's another mystery you uncover within that. But for the first part of the movie, it's a cat and mouse game between Marta and the authorities, where she's trying to like cover her tracks, as she's assisting their investigation.
Yeah.
Whereas this was more, I because of that, I found myself paying more attention here, and I didn't feel like they really laid down a lot of great clues,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean this I think
or at
had
least I think I expected more. This was
the murder.
truly Occam's razor, and maybe there's like some meta thing because that's what happened with Benoit Blanc. Um, that kind of clouded his judgment. Maybe there's a meta thing here, but this felt a lot like, I don't know exactly the words I'm looking for, but
This is kind of weird because a lot of it you have to like kind of like look at in retrospect because of the nature of the way they did this murder mystery. Because you think of it as one murder, and then it's not just one murder. And I kind of like this a little bit more than the first one, but
at the beginning of
it's
this
got a
movie,
unique
you
way
don't
of
really know that there's a murder.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the uniqueness of it is kind of interesting. That's why I say like looking back on it in retrospect, like it actually being like the entire thing from start to end, it was a whole
Mm-hmm.
murder mystery. Whereas for the first half of it, I was like, when's a murder gonna happen?
I
Right?
did. I feel like
Yeah.
Because
maybe
then
I
it
should
just felt like
watch
it was
it again.
because I was like, oh, this is like a whole this is like more of a character piece. Like we're gonna like find out something shady's obviously going on with these characters, and that's gonna be more the mystery. And I was expecting still like Miles Braun to get killed at one point, and like a murder mystery gone wrong. And then when that didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen, I was like, oh, okay. How
Yeah,
is this gonna happen? So piecing it all together without giving away too many spoilers, it was a little bit more of an entertaining ride along the way. And then looking back on it after finishing it, I'm like, you know what? That it wasn't your traditional murder mystery, but it kind of did in the end do the same goal. You know, without like
And
kind of arresting somebody, because I don't like they don't get to see him get arrested at the end, which is always like the satisfying thing is seeing the bad guy go down. Um, and we never really get that satisfaction other than his house kind of blowing up.
Yeah, and I really that kind of
spoilers.
I mean,
I should say, yeah, I'll say Ryan, he doesn't want to do straightforward
he likes to subvert
mysteries seemingly.
expectations.
And
I was
in this movie, he plays a card you can really only play once. In how this movie unfolds.
mhm.
Yeah. So I think before we get into heavy spoilers, I'll just say I think he manages to subvert your expectations in this movie by not at all subverting your expectations.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, the theme of the movie. Sure.
Yeah. But I will say that I think the weakest part of this movie is not so much the third act, but like the last 15, 20 minutes of the movie.
The denouement, you might say.
Yeah, it really just kind of it fell flat for me.
I feel like he was juggling a lot of pieces, and he didn't really know how to land it, and that was the best of the worst, like ending scenarios that he could think of. It just because I don't really know where he would leave it off, especially because you could have it end in a way where it's very simple and straightforward and whatever. But that wouldn't really line up with all the characters' motivations, and it wouldn't make sense with their previous actions. So it's like, okay, we're not going to go that way. So how are you going to come to a conclusion that's satisfying? Because we kind of feel like we wrote ourselves into a corner over just like a really dumb mistake from another character.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the weakest part of this movie was the supporting cast, because
Knives Out had a much better cast and a much more satisfying conclusion. I think that's really the difference for me as to why I prefer it.
In Knives Out 1, right, you got everyone's perspectives, and that's how they got to be in the stories. They got to tell their own biased recollection of events.
Yes.
And in this one, the side cast,
they're just accessories. They're set dressing largely.
And you, even more than in the first one, you know that like there's none of them that's gonna be like there's one person that's of the group that's gonna be the killer, but a lot of these supporting actors feel like obviously like, no, it's not you or you or you. It just, if you do, it was because Ryan Johnson picked it out of a hat.
I think if they did more with the supporting actors and had them play maybe their own unique role a little bit more into it, like you got the politician, you got the chemist, and you could have them, each do their own separate thing to add an element to the mystery, but that never really happened. You kind of just got exposition out of them, which I mean, sure is information to like the clue sheet, motive and opportunity, but it never really like was satisfying, where I think Knives Out maybe did that a little bit better.
And I kind of thought this was going to turn into Clue because they were kind of laying foundations for different people's motives. And, the whole thing's a murder mystery where he gets murdered. And I was like, well, okay, so he's actually going to get murdered. And then this web of intrigue they've set up will begin to unfurl. But they went a different way with it. And they kind of, I think, wasted an well, I wouldn't say wasted an opportunity, but it made it more difficult to incorporate the other characters into the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because even more in the first one, it was about the core. Like you can tell there's foreground characters and there's background characters, and that really puts it into clear focus.
I think overall, this was a faithful adaptation to Among Us.
Yeah, the fucking Among Us joke at the beginning. There was a fair bit of your front and center product placement also. Did it work? No, I can't remember a lick of it other than it was very obvious. Whoops.
What, COVID?
No, I feel like just like random products. I don't know. I feel like I saw like a lot of brand names getting flaunted around.
I don't remember any of that. I don't think it was as prominent as you're remembering it.
Okay.
I don't think Jared Leto's hard kombucha is a real thing. I could be wrong. Wouldn't surprise me if this man has a fucking cult, essentially.
I want to see if they
Oh,
have
it's stuff like the
Jeremy
fucking
Renner hot
iPad where
sauce.
he's like, "I'll give you an iPad for," and he gets the
Well,
iPad.
that's what every person calls a tablet, even when it's not an iPad.
Right, but it was like an actual iPad though.
Yeah. Well,
So, and they give it to him for being smart. But anyways, it's like that kind of stuff that just like I was like, blatant. Hey, let me have another sip of this pretty drink.
Yeah, Mona Lisa. What blatant product placement with this fucking dumb movie.
What is this, a JoJo reference?
Without further ado, maybe let's move on into
Further
spoiler
ado.
season.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
start hunting that white whale.
Yeah.
So get skedaddle, kids. This is your fair warning. We're gonna spoil the entirety of Glass Onion.
So the first thing I have to say, there were a lot of people in the comments when I look back at people like discussing the movie. Of course, there were a lot of people like, yeah, no, I totally got it, but then it tricked me into not getting it. And then by the end, I was like, oh, I got it the first time, gosh. And I was like, man, I didn't even try because it's gonna be inscrutable, and I don't want to spend the mental willpower to figure out something I can just get the answer to by watching it. And
I kind of worked on. Well, that's half the fun of a mystery movie. Is following the clues
and
yourself.
I did do that a little bit. Like I as we were watching, I'm like, oh, what if like that was the thing?
There's a show on Netflix called Murderville, and it's basically Will Arnett plays a detective, and they bring on he and all the other supporting actors in there have a script, but the celebrity guest does not, and they have to figure out who the murderer is at the conclusion of the episode. And it's fun for you to follow along with the clues yourself and figure it out. It's kind of like half the fun here. Here, I kind of banked on Ryan's track record, my boy Rain. I banked on his track record of kind of pulling it out of what you expected least, and I really thought that they were going to do like a Kaiser Soze thing, where the real whatever Ed Norton's character was,
Braun,
the real Miles Braun, was the stoner roommate. I really thought the stoner roommate,
the groundskeeper, who was very. Who they fucking he did the thing where he made it very prominent, like I'm in the background, guys, as he like looks directly at the camera.
Yeah, definite.
Which that was like a I'm faking you out, faking me out, faking you out.
It was like a 3D red herring almost.
Yeah,
like the obvious. The lay viewer would probably be like, "Oh, funny background character." The one who's kind of like expecting the swerve is like, "That's my guy," and then he swerves you again by it not being the guy.
He subverts your expectations.
That's what I'm saying. It's like this. So Miles Braun is revealed to have killed his former business partner to keep quiet this information about this new fuel source that his company's developed. That isn't super tested. It's hydrogen based, I guess, somehow.
Which just means it's explosive. It's an infinity explosive or whatever.
So, I mean, obviously he would have the most motive to kill her, and it's like the obvious choice. But that's kind of like the whole meta context of the movie, is that it's the obvious thing. You can see right through the glass onion to its core. Which, when I say it out loud like that, kind of makes me appreciate the idea a little more than I did at the resolution, where I'm like, well, that feels kind of flat as a reveal. But at the same time, it still does kind of feel flat as a reveal.
I look at it with similar light, but also with the subtext that the character Miles Braun is not this genius that the world perceives him as and everybody else perceives him as, but just a nobody with no original ideas and kind of just a manipulator to take advantage of situations and things that he sees and kind of put them to his own use.
He's a
So when
confidence
you
man. Yeah.
yeah, when you see it like that, and you just think of like, all right, stupid guy gonna perform the murder stupidly, like he's gonna leave out like this major tell, and I was still waiting for that the entire time. Um, but that's kind of the problem where like it falls flat, like right at the end, is that there never was like a major
Yeah,
like
there was no like big
thing that fell
reveal,
flat,
you know?
like
Mhm.
like the Mona Lisa burning up. I
There's
was
no
like,
there was no Perry Mason moment, you
oh,
know?
you're just
In
gonna hurt
in
him
fact,
financially. You're not gonna like. There's no gotcha.
And that's
There's
the
no
Mona
final
Lisa. That's
gotcha.
like a work of art the whole world can appreciate. So you're
Yeah,
just going to burn it down because you're pissed at this asshole? Like
yeah,
that the
it's wild.
whole
It
resolution where they smash up all the stuff and they blow up the house. It just felt so stupid.
it's so stupid. It's
I
so
mean,
dumb.
I thought there
Um,
was gonna be a purpose to it when she kept smashing things, but I was like, I was trying to figure out what purpose could like getting a lot of glass on the ground,
Like get
like
him
just
mad to confess to something or like I don't really
like
know.
that.
I
The
thought it was the
glass smash.
sound or something, right?
Well, that was just to like trigger it, but like you could see that it would like trigger and then go back off. So wouldn't you just need to do it once? It's like having that repetitive glass smashing doesn't make sense unless it's
I
just
mean,
building up a distraction for her to just um, build a fire and eventually, spark flames near the
Yeah. And of course
and
he's
near
a
the
dummy and
intake.
he showed everyone where the override switch was.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
if that's your payoff to the reveal of him being an idiot, it's pretty weak.
Well, the
Yeah.
payoff to him being an idiot was stealing the idea um, from Blanc and
Hey, say what
using.
you want, but knowing a guy's allergic to pineapple and putting pineapple juice in his drink is kind of brilliant.
I do like that as a it
Yeah,
reminds
but
we were talking about this and it reminds me of the leg of lamb
Yeah,
Lamb to Slaughter by Roald Dahl, where the lady kills her husband with a leg of lamb and serves it to the cops who are coming to investigate.
yeah.
but he would know that, like, if he knows that he's allergic to pineapple, they've been friends for so long, he's got fingerprints on the pineapple juice,
Well,
he's
it
been
was in
serving
his
it.
glass, so he could have pineapple and be like, "Oh, he grabbed my glass by mistake."
Yeah.
But he did the switcheroo.
Yeah,
So there's a few instances of him kind of just being dumb, and also just using this like fuel that he knows is very dangerous, powering his own thing, stealing the idea for Alpha like off the napkin. Um, there was that whole Blanc monologue. I won't rehash, but
Mhm.
yeah.
um, yeah, just very simple. I don't really understand like what that whole ending sequence was,
Nothing was
but
accomplished.
um, but I do. I think where it shows its like pizzazz and what kind of makes up for it all was like the middle of the second act part of it, where you think Andy's dead, and they kind of have to replay everything because there was that one burning question in my head was, uh, you know, somebody knows she's dead. How'd she get the box? How did Blanc get the
Yeah,
box? If that's the truth, like
had Blanc get there,
so.
and I'm like, "Is this going to be a trend where like we never know who hires Benoit Blanc until the end of the
Yeah.
movies?"
See, no, that's the actual twist for the next one. Is
We know right
that
away.
yeah? Like I said, he this is the card that Ryan can play once, which is the trivial answer. Like it was not complicated at all. I tricked you into thinking there was a trick, um, which is it's interesting for because I think he wants to like franchise this, right? That's why I sold it
There's
to
at
Netflix.
least one more coming. I think it might even be two more.
Yeah. Um, so I guess to do it this early on is it's a bold move, I would say. we'll see what else he comes up with. I think it's, for me, like I want this kind of movie, but as just a straightforward like whodunit, and not Ryan's like critique on whodunits as a concept.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because again, it's very like the actual um, nuts and bolts of the movie itself. Was good. The location was lovely. The shooting, the cinematography.
It was legitimately good.
Yeah.
This isn't an IMDb comment.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of great, to include the geometry of an island filled with statues that are lots of different shapes, allow you to kind of shape your shots in a lot of interesting ways.
Yeah.
There is obviously the man with the gun, Brown with the gun, and that whole framing of the shot there. Excellent.
Yeah, like on a technical level, it's a well-made movie, and it is enjoyable for the most part. But I feel like with a mystery, and I'm splitting hairs here. I'm not saying like this is a 5 and Knives Out is an 8. Like this is like a 7.5 and Knives Out is like an 8.
Yeah. We should also mention that they do all the big dramatic finishing stuff, and the cops are gonna come, and there's gonna be nothing actionable here.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, the whole premise of blowing it up is like, oh, this is the big reveal of your fuel source, and everyone knows it's dangerous now. It's like you committed arson. He can say that I was vandalized and sabotaged.
Yeah.
There's nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like the whole ending was so pointless. Like nothing was accomplished with that, except a modicum of personal revenge, which I'm sure he has it all insured, so we'll get all back.
I mean, you could argue that maybe that the Mona Lisa was what will bankrupt him now that that's burned up or something. But by how much?
I'm sure he had it insured, and he's gonna make money off that deal.
You know what? I see. The other thing about this is like, as we do these, I have all these great ideas, and then they don't show up in the movie. I'm like, oh man, that would have been so cool. What about this? Like the Mona Lisa also has like a photograph, or like it takes a snapshot of anyone trying to like steal it or something.
The napkin being behind the Mona Lisa would have been interesting.
That would have been fun. Or just so, to catch a thief or whatever trying to steal it. And then you use that to take the picture of the original napkin.
Yeah.
And get photographic evidence there.
Yeah. I was like,
and have the groundskeeper cleaning it up after, and cleaning up the wreckage. And
was that his role? I don't think he was the groundskeeper. I just think he was living there and he was just a dude.
Yeah, he was just a friend. He mentioned in the beginning he was like a friend who's just crashing.
He's going through some stuff.
He's going through some stuff. Don't ask about it.
Which again is the like, oh yeah, pay no attention to what's going on over here. But I would have liked to have known, even if that wasn't part of the greater reveal. I want to know what his deal is.
Yeah.
Why is you like this?
His payoff was Benoit Blanc he's like smoking with him in one scene or drinking with him.
He has two payoffs. When Andy's sister is searching for the envelope, she runs into him about to spark up, and he's like, "You want some?" And then he smokes a cigar with Benoit Blanc at the end of the movie. Benoit Blanc is the best part of this movie. They do a really good job of demonstrating his ability as a detective, because this grand murder mystery he's planned out. He gets done explaining the rules, and he's like, "Can we guess now?" He's like, "The murder hasn't happened yet," and he instantly solves it. Like that's a good way to show his capabilities as a detective without saying like he's the world's greatest detective, even though they did do that a couple times.
and that's like that can be your subversion of the thing, right? Is where that's almost Ryan Johnson saying, "Look, here's your whodunit. Wow, he solved it. How amazing." And it's done, but it's done in a good way where I enjoyed him just running through it.
Yeah, because he really makes a meal of that scene, and Daniel Craig's a good actor, so it
And
works well.
the cinematography is great, the timing's great, and it's punctuated with the arrow right at the end.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was an excellent scene. That's why I thought I was like, oh, this is gonna be
That's where the movie peaked.
entertaining movie.
And I was like, I was hoping, because there was still a lot of time left. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, more of this, please. And then
I thought
there was no more of that.
I thought the peak of it was around when they revealed that Andy wasn't Andy, but Andy had a twin sister, and I was like, oh shit, that's really dumb, but like I didn't expect it.
It
so
was
is it really that
intriguing,
dumb?
but it didn't really. I mean, it's hard for me to say it didn't really lead anywhere because that's the impetus of the whole movie. But like the impact of it not being Andy is not
it also
super heavy, which is weird to say because the whole movie's about Andy's murder.
but I also, it made me look at everything that happened before that with like
with
a
different
new lens.
context. Yeah, so
because
you understand the dirty look she got from the thing, and you're like, why did he say that he's so happy you were here? Like, you knew he was dead. What's going on about that?
yeah, and also like how Benoit Blanc is acting kind of like
Yeah,
acting
squirrely.
kind of weird and
Like,
kind of
how do you get the invitation? Because you see a
dirt.
woman you presume to be Andy
Yeah.
Smash her invitation with a hammer in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean it's a good double implication there on the first time around it's the estranged friend, second time it's the sister, yada yada.
And it sets up this this idea in our head. I mean, it really solidifies because like it makes sense, and it's like we're almost drawn into it because they're kind of spelling it out, and it makes a lot of sense to us. That oh yeah, no, there is somebody like behind the scenes trying to kill Miles Braun. Like they definitely repackaged it and sent it to him and all this, and they're trying to like pull a fast one on him. Whereas, that otherwise we would never have, needed to know that information and then have that be the wool that's pulled over our eyes and get let in on it halfway through the movie or 3/4 of the way through the movie.
And you know what? I'll say this last thing about this movie. It is also a beautiful little trick he can pull. Is that he can put as much cliche shit as he wants in this movie. He could have had the butler do it. He could have literally had the fucking butler do it.
Yeah.
And he was said, "Oh, see, but this movie is about dumb cliche things and how it's way too straightforward. So I tricked you the whole time. I got you." Like with the twin sister thing, like, it's her identical twin is like a soap opera level reveal.
It is.
Yeah.
Which I had never seen done in like an actual movie of any esteem.
Movie,
so I guess it kind of is novel there. Like I said, yeah, there's stuff to like about this movie for sure, and I did like the movie overall. I want to emphasize that I would recommend it to a friend. But
not to an enemy.
You see, I think that's more of a condemnation of the movie if you'd recommend it to an enemy. Like, I'd recommend all my enemies go and sit through Fateful Findings.
Yeah. All my enemies go see Moon crash. All my friends go watch Moon fall.
All my friends go watch Pig. All my enemies go watch Jujitsu.
Yes. Another twin movie.
But yeah, so I would recommend this. I felt that the first movie was stronger, or at least was more satisfying. The cast was certainly stronger.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to the next installment. There is a Knives Out 3. It's in development, and
we'll see what
see
kind of bullshit he's got for us this time.
Yeah,
we're always entertaining.
Yeah, there are worse movies you can watch.
For sure. Like Avatar 2.
Yeah. Skip the Avatar 2 trip to the cinema and get in your
Glass
jammies.
Onion has more layers than fucking Avatar 2's story.
It's a little less by the numbers even. despite being a movie about having a story by the numbers. All right, so that's our review of Glass Onion, and that's going to be a wrap on episode 348. Speaking of our Avatar 2 review, that is a YouTube exclusive because I lost the audio. So that's up on YouTube right now. You can check out our YouTube channel. Just search Saturn Studs. You'll get maybe a couple tutorials on how to place the studs on a Saturn vehicle, and then you'll find our stuff.
It's just that simple.
It's just that simple. So check that out. That's where video versions of the podcast are. I haven't plugged these in a while, but we do for the most part every week video editions of the podcast. It's a little more visually interesting than just listening to the audio, but it is mostly our faces. So your mileage may vary on how much you enjoy that.
But sometimes you also get to see the trash pile. So
you do. You get to see the trash pile. All my holding up of my various boxes will be captured. You sometimes even see like the things we're talking about, the memes we're discussing, and some of the things that trigger our rabbit holes. You can visualize them.
And every now and then we'll do a beer counter. We'll see how many drinks we get through.
Yeah,
definitely.
We do that almost never. Never once have we.
No,
done that.
You at home. The people at home get to count.
They get to.
They can drink along with us.
We give you a job.
Yeah, and then you have to comment how many.
And if you're wrong, you're fired.
Yeah,
you can never watch the show again.
You're blocking you.
It's a dangerous gambit of how to grow your
Brad
audience.
Grammar clause.
All right. We'll see. Again, that's a wrap.
The next one.
Until next time, be well, stay safe, and party like it's 1995.
Peace.
Bye-bye.